my name's Kira, and I'm going to be interviewing my dad right here. He's from Generation X, and I'm a millennial. So, what do you think individuals of your generation value?
So I'm kind of a positive person in that respect. I kind of think all generations have the same values. So I guess to me, I think certain things happen like, economic recessions or whatever that cause different generations to adjust their values. But I think in an overall, I think they all have the same values, relationships, financial stability and wealth and stuff. So I think they all have the same values. It's just a matter of, what affected you during your life, which kind of causes you to pick and choose between the different values.
Okay. Um, what do you think is one cultural norm associated with your generation?
Cultural norm,
Mm-hmm.
probably kind of some of the events that have happened technology wise in my generation, like the changes that Apple has made or the changes that Microsoft has made in how we do things. So I think they kind of really value that because a lot is done differently today compared to back in the 80s or the 90s.
Okay, so just like technology and stuff like that.
Yeah. hmm
So what is one belief that your generation feels about millennials?
I think a lot of generations feel that their generation is better than the next. I think they kind of look at the next generation and say, things aren't as good, or, they don't do things as well as we did when we were a kid, or they grew up differently than we grew up and stuff like that. So I think kind of all generations feel that their generation is the best and kind of the one after them don't have the best quality of life because things are different because they grew up differently.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you think individuals of my generation value? So like millennials.
Millennials,
Yeah.
um,
Today's.
I think they value a lot of stability when you're talking about, today's current political environment and who we have as president. And, considering the last recession that we had, you know what I mean? I think millennials are a little bit more leery of going out and buying a home, I think, because they maybe have seen, some of the difficulties that this past recession had with foreclosures and stuff like that. So I think, their willingness to go out and do things financially or be a homeowner is a little bit affected by that because they did see the terrible foreclosures and stuff that we had. So I think those are kind of what affects them.
Yeah, I think that really makes sense. So what do you think is one cultural norm associated with millennials?
Cultural norm, I think cell phones. I
Yeah.
think the technology with cell phones, millennials today do so much on them, and I think they replace so much devices that that is something that we didn't have or we didn't use because we didn't have it back in when I was younger.
Okay. And then the last question, what do you think is one belief that my generation, so millennials, have about your generation, Generation X?
Belief about us. That we struggle with the new technologies. I think when new things come out, a lot of times millennials are having to kind of drag their parents into it, or drag older people, or at work they have that older person that's just unwilling to accept the changes.
Yeah.
We're yeah.
I think that's a really good answer.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.